Good afternoon. This is Krithika Copy presenting the final designs for Advanced Design Studio 2 on the topic of how monuments would respond to a local myth and how a monument can pay a tribute to an event that lacks an architectural symbol. Case study Hiroshima Peace Memorial. Designed by Czech architect Jane Letzel, Hiroshima Prefectural Commercial Exhibition Hall was the base for the upcoming domestic business climate. The hall served an important role in Hiroshima not only by stimulating industry but for cultural promotion as well, providing a venue for a museum and artwork collection. On August 6, 1945, Little Boy, the first atomic bomb used in the war, detonated almost directly above the dome. Parts of the building remained intact and survived the blast. In September 1992, when Japan signed the World Heritage Convention, many in Hiroshima voiced the opinion that the A-bomb dome should be registered on the World Heritage List. Initially, the national government opposed the idea, stating that the A-bomb dome is not protected under the Domestic Cultural Properties Protection Act and it is not old enough to be designated a national cultural asset. To counter this attitude, citizens groups in June 1993 formed a committee to promote the A-bomb dome as a World Heritage Site. As a result of this movement, the national government revised the criteria for historic site designation and the decision was made to register the A-bomb dome on the World Heritage List. Hiroshima Peace Memorial is not only a stark and powerful symbol of the most destructive force ever created by humankind, it also expresses the hope for world peace and the ultimate elimination of all nuclear weapons. Similar to the involvement of the citizens of Japan, my project also involves people's concern in proposing a monumental structure for the revival of the ancient traditional systems of education of India. Case Study 2 Brian Vega Cemetery. Brian Vega Cemetery in San Vito di Altivo near Treviso, Italy was designed by architect Carlo Scapa during 1970-72 in eclectic pre-modern style. His architecture is deeply sensitive to the changes of time, from seasons to history, rooted in a sensuous material imagination. The memorial content of this project can be found in the following words by the architect. I would like to explain the tomb Brian. I consider this work, if you permit me, to be rather good and which will get better over time. I have tried to put some poetic imagination into it, though not in order to create poetic architecture, but to make a certain kind of architecture that could emanate a sense of formal poetry. The place for the dead is a garden. I wanted to show some ways in which you could approach death in a social and civic way, and further what meaning there was in death, in the ephemerality of life other than these shoe boxes. This memorial and monument to the Italian family is made almost entirely of concrete and travertine surfaces. The experience is broken up by segmented paths that represent symbolic themes of life and death. The second symbolic material used in the design is water, which symbolizes death and rebirth. Use of symbols from various religions, colored tiles, and circular forms creates a feeling of transcendence. I have tried to incorporate symbolic architecture in my project to pay tribute to a historical event that no more thrives. Thirukarukundram is an ancient town in Kanchipuram district of the South Indian state of Tamil Nadu. The town is famous for its Hindu temple Vedagrishwara temple, popularly known as Kadagu Koil or Eagle Temple, seen on the bottom left of the slide. There are two temples, one on the foothills and other atop the hill. The main attraction here is a large temple located atop the mountain which houses the deity of Vedagrishwara, Lord Shiva. The temple on the foothills is for Lord Shiva's consort Parvati, seen in the bottom right image. It is one of the most important heritage places of India. According to tradition, the four Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama and Atharvana, are seen here in the shape of four boulders, placed one above the other, with Lord Shiva as Vedagrishwara emerging from the head of the fourth Veda, Atharvana. Hence, the place gets the name Vedagiri, where the presiding deity on the hilltop is Vedagrishwara. The hill, located here, used to be inhabited by saints. In ancient days, the Upanishads and Vedas were chanted here. Presently, the village surrounding the hill is transforming into an urban settlement. Here we can see the proposed site and the existing temple on the hill. A road can be seen around the hill that will be the access to the proposed project. The myth. Tirukarkundram is also popularly known as Pakshititham or place of holy birds. Top left, we can see a picture of a priest feeding two birds. According to the legend, the two birds fly every day from Varanasi on the Ganges to this temple at noon. They have lunch here and then fly to Rameshwaram down south. Then they fly north up the coast to Chidambaram, go to sleep, and in the morning they fly north to Varanasi for a bathe in the Ganges and then off back to Tirukarkundram again. They are not considered as normal birds but as mythical late sages. Lord Shiva was angry with their act and cursed them to turn into eagles. When they asked for forgiveness, Lord Shiva directed them to the temple of Vedagrishvara, where they would be fed and worshipped. In the last three epochs, three pairs died, leaving the last couple surviving in this epoch, which is also not seen since 1998. It is believed that the sages have attained salvation and so will not return. Top right is a stone inscription dating back to AD 305 that narrate the myth of the two eagles. The temple with this inscription was built by Pallava emperors. The legend has that Saint Markandeya, who visited the temple, wished to perform Abhisheka to the Lord Shiva, but he found no vessel to take the water. Just then, a conch suddenly emerged in the tank that is seen on the bottom right, and Markandeya performed the Abhisheka. This tank is called Sangatirtham. Sangha means conch and Tirtham means holy water. The water in this tank is considered to have medicinal properties, and so people use it to take a holy dip. The conch shell emerges from this water body once in 12 years. On the bottom left is an image of the conch shells collected from the tank. The temple management stores them and they are used once a year to perform Abhishekam for Shiva. The conch last appeared in 1999. Tirukarkundram, a flourishing weaver settlement during the medieval period, became a Dutch settlement after they obtained it in 1612 from the rulers of Carnatic. The Dutch East India Company established a factory essentially to produce and trade the famous muslin cloth till the settlement was razed to the ground in British bombardment. Though both French and British wanted to establish their power in this area, none of them had interfered with the temple affairs. This slide shows the monumental approach concept of my Vedic school. The mythological content of the place reveals the extinct of Vedic knowledge and culture in the first place, birds in the second place, and the conch in the third place. The reason behind the extinction can be attributed to the advancements in human civilization, leading to ecological imbalance and loss of cultural identity. The appearance of birds and the conch cannot be retrieved, but the Vedic knowledge can still be imparted to the future generation in order to revive the ancient culture and the historical relevance of the hill. My approach to monumentality is depicted in the form of a Vedic school. The four boulders on the hill represented the four Vedas, which led me to think of the structure as four departments of education in four levels, accessed by a cable car at different levels as shown on the slide. Proposal for a snack bar on the hilltop with a sculptural form of the birds would pay a tribute to the historical event that no more thrives. The snack bar would symbolize the everyday feeding activity of the birds on the hill. Program information of the Vedic School. Atop Hill Junior School Administrative Office Snack Bar. Mid Hill will hold the Senior School with four departments representing the four Vedas. Bottom Hill will have the Cultural Center, Food Court, Amphitheatre and dormitories. Accessed by cable car and steps. Architecture. Atop the hill, ornamental features to synchronize with the existing temple structure. Mid-hill, less ornamental details. Bottom hill, contemporary style to merge with the current urban development. The yellow spot on the site plan shows the existing steps leading to the temple, which can be seen on the images on the left. The magenta spot is the proposed entrance archway leading to the Vedic school. Images of the hill can be seen on the top right of the slide. We can see the close-up view of the proposed site. I have divided the site plan into three segments. The buildings on top hill is indicated in a green boundary. Buildings on the mid-level of the hill is bounded by the blue line, and a magenta line bounds the buildings on the foothills. The images on top show the funicular cable car in Pittsburgh. I propose a similar mode of transport to move people up and down the hill. Apart from this, a pedestrian stairway also leads to the hill. The bottom of the slide shows the elevation of the hill from south. On the top, we can see the close-up view of each level of the building structures. This slide shows the elevation of the hill from east. This slide shows a view of the development from southeast. A bird's eye view from southwest can be seen on the slide. This slide shows the view of the hill from northeast. In this slide, we can see the proposed buildings atop the hill. The temple is in close vicinity to the other structures as the activities of the school depend on the temple on all auspicious occasions. The students used to learn the Vedas inside the temple during the early period. Junior School Level 1 plan shows the classrooms around an open courtyard. The courtyard will be used for assemblies. Traditional Indian architectural principles follow the concept of an open courtyard in the center of the building with windows aligned for cross ventilation. The tropical climate of the site has also been taken into consideration while planning the buildings. The Vedic knowledge is traditionally learned by male gender. The boys are seated on the floor as shown in the picture. The colors on the floor plan indicate the grades of classes from 1 to 4 in level 1 and 5 to 8 in level 2. Each of the classes is designed for 16 students. This slide shows the level 2 floor plan of the junior school. Elevation of the junior school shows the ornamental architectural elements incorporated so as to be in harmony with the existing temple structure. Below the elevation is a section of the building. Perspective view and cross-sectional view of the building are seen on the bottom of the slide. Administrative office building, typical floor plan level 1 and 2, shows the rooms around the courtyard for the 4 department deans and staff. The upper level houses the library and meeting rooms. This slide shows the elevation section and a roof plan of the administrative office building. This slide shows the plan, elevation section and a view of the snack bar with the bird sculpture on the domical roof. The slide shows the buildings at mid-level of the hill, 4 departments with 4 classrooms for each department, accessed by pedestrian ways and car stations. The architectural feature of these buildings are lesser than the buildings atop the hill. Senior school classrooms are designed in 2 levels. The lower level will be used by the department staff, while the upper level will have the classrooms. The open corridors leading to the classes act as meeting areas for the students. Elevation of the senior classrooms from east. View of the classrooms from atop the hill can be seen in the slide. This slide shows the buildings on the foothills close to the entrance of the site. This zone has a food court, cultural center, amphitheater and dormitories. The buildings are designed in contemporary style with no ornamental features as they are in close proximity with the urban area. This slide shows the plan, elevation and a perspective view of the food court. The food court has been designed in such a way that the semi-open dining area overlooks the amphitheater. The plan, section and elevation of Cultural Center can be seen in the slide. Cultural Center houses the display of 4 departments of Vedic knowledge with a central space attributed for the display of historical events of Tirukarukundram. A perspective view of the buildings can be seen here. The performance and amphitheater can be viewed from the semi-open dining area of the food court. The arts department of the senior school is located at the lowest level so as to be closer to the amphitheater where the students can perform art activities like classical dance and music. This slide shows the plan, elevation and section of dormitory for boys. The magenta point indicates the entrance archway to the proposed Vedic school. This is the point where the road meets the campus boundary. The design of the archway will reflect the architecture of the temple. As a conclusive slide, I present the overall view of the Vedic school that would reflect the monumentality of the past events of Tirukazhkundram and thereby remind the cultural significance of the place for the future generations. Thank you.